You don't understand. It kills something in you each time something dies.
Kimberly Ray was just 3 years old the first time she was raped by her stepfather. It happened again and again for the next 6 years.
I was very depressed at that age, very sad. Why did he choose me? What did I do different at that time that made his sick mind be attracted to a 3-year-old child?
Her mother knew about all the rapes and never said a thing.
There was one occasion where my mother was leaving for work, and my stepfather had me at the top of the stairs with him, and his robe was kind of open a little bit, and he was kind of messing with my hair. My mother was down the bottom of the stairs, and she kind of looked at me in a look of disgust. And what I read from her eyes back then was, just do what you're going to do with her, and let it be done before I get home from work. And that bothered me for many years.
There was one place Kim found solace: church. And when she was 9, she gave her life to Christ.
Being in church was really wonderful. I enjoyed it very much, but I was confused. I was confused trying to figure out who this God, the preacher, was preaching about. That he was preaching about love and preaching about, kindness and hope and joy, but that's not what I was hearing in my household.
Later that year, her mother told Kim and her brothers she didn't want them anymore and sent them to live with their father, whom they'd never met.
I could not believe that this woman, my mother, just dropped us off with no warning to this man. I've already slept with a man in her life, and now she doesn't want me no longer. Now she wants me. Now she's going to give me to a man who I don't even know, and now she's going to just drop us off, no warning, no nothing. And I remember that feeling, saying, okay, the world's going to pay now. I remember saying, this is it.
So at the very tender age of 9, sex, drugs, and alcohol became Kim's obsession. She stopped going to church and started hanging out with older teens.
I was very mature then, but I had wisdom way above my age at 9.5 years old, 10. I was scheming back then at that age because I started seeing things more. I was just so hurt by my mother. I just didn't care.
Kim never told anyone about the abuse. Her teen years were unstable, her actions erratic. She lived with many different men, had 3 children, and continued to use drugs. She tried prostitution for a few months, which landed her in jail. Even in the turmoil, one thing remained constant: the emptiness she felt.
At that time, I was battling depression really bad. I was battling low self-esteem. At that time, I think I was 80 pounds at that time. I lost so much weight there. There was no mother and father to call on. There's nobody there.
Kim decided that she wanted a better life for her and her children. So, after her release from jail, she took 2 jobs to provide for her family. But try as she might to move forward, drugs and her secret past kept their grip. The only thing keeping her going was her love for her children.
They gave me something to live for. I remember thinking, if I don't deal with this now, these dark secrets, it's going to pass on to my daughter, it's going to pass on to my son. I knew that I couldn't do this on my own. There was something in me that I knew automatically. I know I could not raise these 3 kids on my own. It was impossible. I didn't have the wisdom how to do it. But I knew there was something greater that can help me raise these 3 babies, and that was God.
She started going back to church.
I knew there was something that preacher was saying I wanted. I started opening up more to God. I started to learn the difference between religion and relationship.
Over the next 10 years, Kim grew in her relationship with God. She quit the drugs, and a few years later, married. She went to seminary and became a pastor. Yet one struggle remained. Kim was still depressed.
I didn't want to get out of bed. I remember saying, Kimberly, you gotta feed the kids cereal, you gotta get ready for school. It was a fight every day to get out that bed. I still had not dealt with those dark secrets yet. I was going home ready to kill myself every single day.
One day when her husband and children were downstairs, Kim decided to end her life.
I remember going to the bathroom, got the paper and pencil in the bathroom, wrote out my will, apologized to my children about, I just couldn't do it any longer. I'm just ready to check out, had the pills ready to go. Before I left this earth, I wanted to take God to take him to every single rape, every single abuse, every single touch. Every time I was abandoned, I just said, God, why did you let him touch me there?
But as she opened up to God about her past, She felt the peace she remembered as a child settle over her. The more she talked to God, the more she felt a weight lift from her.
Once I took God to those secret places in my life that I never shared with no one humanly on this earth, I felt a sense of peace. I felt it was almost peace. It was pain, but then it was peace. The peace was I allowed the Spirit of God to come inside to heal those areas in my life.
Kim didn't take the pills. Instead, she found a Christian psychiatrist. After lots of prayer and counseling, she overcame her depression.
Months of therapy. I was on antidepressant pills still for many years. It took me months, but as I opened up to God, it became more sweet every day. It's not realistic thinking to think that we've arrived because we're believers. That's not true. We're spiritual beings in this fleshly body.
Kim knows that it was God who helped her overcome depression. She has written a book about her journey titled, "And Yet You Still Chose Me." She also travels nationally to speak about God's peace.
If this faith walk works, but it only works if you open yourself up to God. It doesn't work by playing the church. It doesn't work by going to church. It doesn't work by hanging with the clique. It works by opening yourself up 100% to your Savior.